Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Some thought that came to my mind I wanted to address too is still in regards to the divide between, black people amongst black people, and it's about how we represent ourselves. I feel like we have to put a lot of focus on how we present ourselves to the world, because a lot of people are focusing on that, and a lot of people are looking at that as entertainment. But with the cosigns within the community is where things, become inaccurate. Whereas, the vast majority of human beings on this earth, I would say like 95%, believe whatever they see on TV, regardless of what each individual would tell you. I would say 95%. And TV, media, social media, all lump that in the same category. You just believe it. And, when you represent something that shows black culture, that shows black life, and in doing that, it gets depicted in this type of fashion, people think that's all black people. Now, I'm not one to really care too much about what other people think, although I do understand it is the reasons why people look at people in a certain fashion. And regardless of what most of you people may say, the fact of the matter remains is majority of you are concerned about how other people think about you. That's what dictates all of your movements. And so, me personally, like, I don't like the whole narrative of, women against men in general. And I definitely don't like the narrative of black women against black men. I was watching a social media post, and it was a skit, and, it seemed to be a skit. It was just like great acting, whatever. And I'm watching it, and I believe it to be a skit. And it's a very popular business coach. He's there with his wife, and he's at dinner. And he's at dinner with his wife, and his wife's brought their friends to celebrate someone's birthday. He said, "Look, I got the birthday girl, I got my wife, and that's it." And the girls was like, "Oh, how come you don't have us?" Da 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 da. And it was very entertaining. But the thing that kind of bothers me is that, other cultures will look at this and run with it. Where I just happen to be scrolling again through Instagram, and I see a repost of the same one, not even tagging the person whose post that it is, and just a repost of it, and people referring to the women as being, what they are or what they appear to be, and they're doing it as if it's a fact. Now, my advice to everybody is this: when it comes to social media, anytime you see anything on social media, I don't care if it looks like I don't care how real it looks, your best bet is to assume it to be false. That's your best bet. Because I can't take the chances of believing something automatically, especially for the younger folk out there, for the people who are like kids that are listening to this. Yeah, assume it to be false. And the thing that I don't like about even the skits is that we laugh at it often and we say that's true. But that might be true in some cases, but it isn't true in all cases. Believe me when I tell you, the very depiction of black America and the black family, and even just the single mother in this world that gets, taught to people, this false depiction is just far from true. And I love it when I meet people, and I do so on a daily basis, especially from the black culture, especially younger people who have their father and their mother in their life, and people are growing up talking about how their father did this, and they're growing up talking about their father did that. But why are all of these skits and all of these social media posts catering to the divide between the black male and the black woman? I feel like that's a problem. I feel like it's inaccurate. I know it's inaccurate in my case, and I know other people who's inaccurate in their case. And people only focus on their immediate surroundings because a lot of people think small, right? So you think about, oh well, all the people I know, fathers weren't in their life or whatever. Well, you have a small circle of people. It's just that simple. And it just gets promoted that this is the truth, but it's falsehood. It gets promoted that, black men are just overly promiscuous and, will cheat on their wife all the time, and all of these are false. And then it gets promoted for men in general. Why? To continue to sow more discord. So why is it that y'all choose to do this? It could be entertaining for the adults, but for the children, they can assume it to be the way that life is supposed to be, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You got to really look at what is looking at you. You got to really look at who is looking at you. And I'm not too concerned about other races. I mean, other races are going to take our post and reblog it and comment this and comment even their racial stuff that they want to comment, which is fine. But at the end of the day, I'm more concerned about what are children thinking when they see this. Are they looking at this situation and thinking this is where life's supposed to be, and that their life is weird because they have their mother and their father in their life? You got to really ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself how you present it to, like, have conversations with your kids. Make sure they have the full understanding, like, social media is just not real. There's nothing real about it. There's nothing real in the reels. So that's the main thing I wanted to focus on you about, talk to you guys about. Be mindful of how you're presenting the culture of our people to people. And then furthermore, stop always trying to present our culture to people. Everything ain't for everybody. There are things that happen in other cultures we know nothing about. But I will say this, it kind of works as a double-edged sword. It kind of works in our favor, the fact that the positive things don't get posted because we're assumed to be this and we're assumed to be that. But there are so many positive things that are actually going on behind the scenes, of fathers taking care of their children, of men and women being together, and it being a positive thing as opposed to being a negative thing. And there are the vast majority of black women, in my belief, in my opinion, are good women. However, if you would just base your knowledge on black women off of social media, you would automatically assume it to be, oh well, black women are this or black women are that. It's nothing further from the truth. Like, I would bet that that's a small percentage of what black women are in comparison to what black women, the amount of black women in this world and as a whole. And like I said, like we are dark skinned people. Like, there's no difference between black women in Africa, black women in America, black women in Europe. Maybe it's a difference in the tongue, maybe it's a difference in the tone, maybe it's a difference in the way that you act. But stop buying the ads. Stop believing the BS about what a black woman is. Stop seeing a black woman do certain things on television and think that's what you're supposed to be doing. Because the things that are on television are complete false depictions. Just like when you show nothing but black men doing crime, but there's so many white men that commit crime day in and day out that just never get talked about. And so, be mindful of all of these things. It's really important that we are. Because if we're just looking at everything on the surface, if we're just looking at what we're broadcasting and what is being broadcast, well, then that's a problem. And the problem with us broadcasting it is this: 40, 50 years down the line, if these videos are still available, no one can say that it was broadcast by anyone other than us. Just the same way when it comes to social media, when you don't know who's on, like who's really the face behind these social media accounts. I mean, it might be a pro-black this or a pro-black that, but that doesn't mean that it's anybody black behind the account. It could be a Chinese person, it could be a white person, And just start to look at things and ask yourself, how does what I'm looking at make me feel? Like, for like any white person listening, I'm sure some white people don't want to listen. I find it a bit peculiar when I see a lot of, especially on social media, a lot of white people and some Hispanic people talking about black people on posts on social media accounts that are just talking about positive things about black people too. That's weird. And they just want to be the first to post something negative. Anytime, it's like if a black person says something positive about black people, then they want to say something negative about black people. Like this, like me speaking positive about myself or me speaking positive about my people isn't speaking negatively about you. Like, what is that really about? Like, how do you truly feel? Like, you could speak positive about your race, and you should be glad that whatever race that you are. But a lot of times you'll see social media, and you'll notice when the tone kind of changes, right? So you'll see a social media about this or about that, and you follow it, and then all of a sudden they got several million followers, and then all of a sudden there seems to be an automatic shift, and then the tone gets shifted from helping people with their credit or helping people with their finances to why black women are horrible, or why black men are committing crimes all the time, or just any type of ratchet stuff. That's why I don't follow the gossip pages. You know what I'm talking about, like all of the gossip pages. I don't follow these pages any longer. I used to, but when I seen them and I was watching them, you know, like I was like, what are they really trying to promote here? And so people talk about social media being, bad for people. But I mean, truthfully, like I feel like a lot of times it's the human mind. I can't blame social media. I'll be a fool to. But it's the mind. It's the mind of the individual. It's about what I'm searching for. It's about what I desire to see, and it's about what I'm allowing my children to see. So I didn't want to talk to you guys too long about it, but just be mindful of how you're representing yourself. You know what I mean? There's a lot of black men that get really emotional about situations, and then it gets filmed. Like, why? First of all, we men, like, what is you so emotional for? Why are you all up in your feelings? Why are you mad because you can't cry or whatever the stuff? Like, stop crying. Like, stand up. Be a man, for real. I know a lot of people not gonna like what I say. I don't care. I'm not saying things for your liking. I'm saying things for your good. Like, there's no reason. I never understood this. Why you would have a grown man arguing with a female and clapping in her face. Like, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, I don't get that. I don't comprehend it. Like, that makes no sense to me. I still don't understand why grown men clapping other grown men's face. I don't understand why you getting all out for it in the first place. If you have an issue with somebody, even if it's a heated argument or a heated discussion, like, control your emotions. You a man. You trying to tell me that you don't know how to be an island of calm in the sea of chaos? Like, you really got to sit back and look at and ask yourself, why am I acting this way? Why am I lashing out? You're so all into your feelings. Like, well, this person disrespected me, or this person made me feel this type of way. Like, forget about that. It's more important things at hand. It's more important things that are the issue. I had many times where, I could have lashed out on somebody, but I just looked at the situation for what it actually was, and I'm like, nah, like, this doesn't make any sense. Y'all get loud in the people's faces. Like, it's and just here's the thing. Y'all put all of this focus into your emotions and how you feel and being disrespected, yet you disrespect yourself in some aspects. And then anytime you have an aspect of somebody showing respect to you or respect to your peoples, you're quick to display it in a fashion of, oh, well, that's corny. Black men and black women do that. And we're at a point right now, so many black people that want to blame white people for things that were done in the past. And you might be accurate with things that are done in the past, but at the end of the day, that stuff is in the past now. You need to get on board and stop complaining about, because the bottom line, I've said it time and time again, nobody cares. Work harder. Nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares about what happened to you years ago, especially these young white people. They can care less because they ain't had nothing to do with it. They don't care what their parents did. Y'all up here asking for reparations and whatnot, like, that's actually going to happen? Y'all actually entertain that discussion? Like, I don't even entertain these type of discussions. You have to be a real fool to think that, oh, you're going to get reparations right now. Like, you just have to be. You're a complete idiot. Like, you living in a society where you can get... We live in a capitalistic society where you have the ability to gain money and to gain market share. You have so much money that you choose to spend outside of your community, which you can keep and bounce into your community multiple times as much as you can. But you choose not to. You would rather go to Walmart and purchase an inferior product than support your sister or your brother that's struggling in the business on your own. Like, that makes zero sense. When I talk to people, and that's why I love going to barbershops, is when I talk to people in the barbershops that, are doing certain things on their own and they working out business of their own, cool. I don't have to sit up here and this is the worst thing, broadcasting, oh, this is a black owned business, or broadcasting, oh, I'm here to support black owned people. Like, no, just do it. Don't talk about it. And that seems, I feel, to be a major issue. You want to talk about, or you want to have an issue. You have zero issue with constantly talking about what people should do instead of actually putting some actions behind doing it. I don't have to post that I'm doing that. That's just the same as posting that I'm giving to a homeless person. Like, that's the worst kind of post I've ever seen in my life. If someone's homeless, you're going to give to them and going about your business. Ain't nothing to brag about. If somebody's black and they own a business, then buy from their business. Well, how do people know about them? Talk to your people. Everything ain't for everybody. I would never create a business and put in such a niche hole, not hole, but in such a niche, create such a niche product that is only for black people. Because subconsciously, what does that tell white people? Well, it's not for us. We might as well not buy it. So white people can sell to you, and but if you're creating a company, a black-owned company, you only want black people to buy from you. Like, why wouldn't you want everybody to buy from you? Why are you making products specifically for black people, knowing that when black people see it, a lot of times what happens is they go, let me just get this white person's product. Like, it is my belief that a black person will buy a product geared towards black people from white people, as opposed to buying a product geared towards black people from black people. If you don't believe that, let's take it to animation, right? So let's look at Disney and look at The Little Mermaid and look at that situation. Well, black people are all excited about The Little Mermaid being black. Well, it's a comic book out here right now, and this comic is called Black Sands. I don't see too many people who are really excited about getting that. You are quick to buy a black product from a non-black person than a black product from a black person. I don't understand that. I don't understand, like, the way that people think. Me personally, I buy products I like. I don't care if the person is white or black or whatever. Like, the clothes that I wear and stuff like that, I buy products that I like. If you own a black-owned clothing line and I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. That's just truth. That's just the truth. But at the end of the day, like, think about how you actually circulate your money, and then start to ask yourself certain questions like, well, am I circulating my money in a proper fashion, or am I circulating my money in an improper fashion? Am I happy with the way that I'm circulating my money? When I get paid, who is the first person that I pay? Am I paying myself? Because that should be the first person you pay. Well, I mean, truthfully, the first you should pay is your tithes, but whether you believe it or not. But, and whether you agree with it or not, I can care less. But, like, at the end of the day, the first one I got to pay is my tithes, and then I got to pay myself, and then afterwards, I got to find out who else I have to pay, whether it be a bill or a creditor or whatever the case may be. But y'all got to stop thinking of yourselves in an inferior light and start thinking of yourselves as the more superior than what you think that you are. Because you're bigger than what you think that you are. You just don't think it. And as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. As a man thinks about himself, so is he. But comment, like, follow, subscribe, dislike. If you dislike, that's perfectly fine. Just write dislike in the comments so I can keep track of the number of people who are disliking. Keep in mind that YouTube often, displays the likes, but they never displays the number of people who dislikes, which gives a false perception as to how many people actually liked it versus how many people actually dislike it. And yeah, like stop. If you're gonna broadcast something about black people life, like, broadcast the good stuff about it. We already talked about changing the algorithms. We already talked about changing so many things. Like, broadcast the good things about black people that black people are doing. Just put it out there. Create likes about it. And it's true. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. People have a desire to see negative things. You see about somebody getting shot, people have a desire of seeing it, though. But don't fall under the false belief that only black people are committing crimes, and don't fall under the false belief that only white people are committing crimes, and stop going back and forth over these fake social media accounts of these judges, cops, lawyers, and doctors who are afraid to talk under their real account. If they have 0 posts in an anime emoji, or they have a picture of a face with glasses on it, or it's like 20 people in the picture, you don't know who it is, and their page is blocked, like, they're afraid to be who they are. So so you be aware there are racist people in this world. Get over it, and, like, there's no reason to even engage with these people, because there's no reason for you to try to change their mind. Only an individual can decide to change its own mind. But that's all I really wanted to say about that.